agree to disagree.
Oh, really?
Him.
Ah, okay.
We were talking about religion and why we're here and how we came to be.
Before we even start, with the rings, sometimes people have their own preconceived notions that, oh, he must be a biker, he must be this, he might be that.
I am a biker, actually.
You are, yeah? Okay. Give me the rationale behind it and...
The rationale? No. Aesthetics.
You just love the design, yeah?
Aesthetics, yes.
And
and love the weight.
Yeah?
On my fingers, yeah.
Wicked. And the bike, you've got one of those...
One of those.
Nice.
Harley.
Because I didn't want to... You know, sometimes you bring up a certain stereotype and the person gets upset. He's like, I'm a teacher, actually.
Is there any way to place this mic on him?
You can ask. Is it okay if he clips that mic on you?
Sure.
So, my name's Zishan.
I'm Rui. Rui.
Rui. Okay.
Like Louis, but with an R.
Wicked Rui. So Rui, you've spoken a bit about Islam, and hopefully we'll come back to that. But just out of interest, you're from the UK, America?
No, Portugal.
Portugal, fantastic. So, seeing what's going on in the world at the moment, and what you're hearing about Islam, any misconceptions that come to your mind, or any questions that you have?
At all. I make no misconception. I try to not to make any misconceptions, and I definitely don't blame terrorism or whatever on a religion.
That's very interesting.
I blame it on radicals that exist in every religion. No, in every culture, actually.
Okay, fantastic. What's helped you see things in a certain way? Because I've seen a lot of intelligent folk get, pigeonholed into believing that sort of thing, or even falling in that rabbit hole. You yourself are holding a view which we try to encourage people to do, which is don't follow the adherents, look at the religion. Don't judge the religion by the followers of the religion.
That's just the thing. I don't look at the religion. I have my own beliefs, or lack of. I look at people, basically, and there are good people everywhere, in every religion, in every non-religion, everywhere. Everyone's basically different.
Do you feel people?
There are good people and bad people everywhere.
Do you feel that people judge you by the way you look?
Of course they do, and I just laugh. I just laugh it off.
Do you think that contributes to you not wanting to repeat what you go through with other people?
Well, the best I can do is give them advice on how I deal with it, which is basically, if you don't like it, there are a whole lot of people to look at.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So Rui, yeah?
Rui.
So Rui, what is your current position about a creator of the cosmos?
Well, with the lack of evidence, I trust in nature. I believe, well, not believe because there's no way yet of knowing. But I tend not to believe things without actual proof.
So when you say proof, are you talking about empirical proof that you can touch?
Empirical proof? Well, I trust in science. Basically, I trust in science.
Science. So if something has not been formulated by science yet, you're inclined to disbelieve it?
I'm inclined not to disbelieve it. I'm inclined to not believe it until I have proof of it. I'm doubtful.
And that proof, would you say, has to be empirical, or you accept other proof like logical proofs, philosophical proofs, testimony? Proof is proof.
Proof is proof.
Brilliant, fantastic. Because some people, they try to use the word proof, but they just go for empirical proof. So
the empirical proof will come sooner or later. Many of the things that we have today as science were once magic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
they
many
were not empirical proof because technology or process of thought we're not there yet to reach those conclusions.
In fact, even for example, there are two principles that are somewhat popular. Like Einstein says, moral questions. Moral questions is not something that science can answer or it claims to answer.
No.
So that's something out of the scope.
Different fields.
Exactly.
Morals are one thing. Science is
another thing.
Different things. Spirituality is a whole other different thing.
And also, science explains the how, but can't explain why. That again is a subtlety that's also positive.
Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't.
I'll give you an example.
Someday I trust it will.
So I'll give you an example. Because science relies on empirical evidence, more specifically induction. Yeah. And let's just say there's a cake that's baked and it's in the kitchen, and somebody says, using science, prove to me why that cake was made. So you take out your beaker, your Bunsen burner, you set up everything, and then you take samples and everything. Yes, a scientist will be able to tell you the composition of the cake.
Yes.
They'll be able to tell you the nature of...
Basically, they can tell me how it came to be, not how it got there.
Yes, not why it's there, and why can only be explained if I call my aunt and she comes and says, oh, I baked you that cake because you've done well in your studies this week.
Exactly.
Okay, wicked. So when it comes to science, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory, steady state? Like, where do you pitch your tent?
Well, I tend to believe Big Bang because currently it's the most plausible explanation, but not a definite explanation yet.
Okay. And evolution, you believe is a good working model, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay. So when it comes to Islam and our belief in a God, the reason why we say, because we believe that evolution, Big Bang, law of gravity, whatever it is, these are all mechanisms.
Of course.
Yeah, and we believe you have mechanisms, but we believe God is a creator of mechanisms.
Yes,
that's why we don't. Yeah, that's why we don't believe the two contradict. What we say is God and the nature of things. That is going into metaphysics and philosophy. That's not something that science claims to answer, and that's why we need to go into. But when you say yet, though, how would, if science goes by induction, things that you must experience or see, and God by nature is something that you can't see.
Yet. That's my point.
So you believe that we can see God in the future?
I believe that if there is a God, someday, yes, we might be able to see.
Like in person?
Like in person, some manifestation, something.
Rui.
Yes.
Rui. I would argue we already have the manifestation. And the manifestation that I would argue, using objective criteria, is design. Now there are certain objective, like I know you've been given this argument, however, certain objective designs, for example, the golden ratio. Yeah, the golden ratio, symmetry, are objective ways that we can see beauty and design. I
would argue that that same design also has flaws, and a perfect God would not create those flaws.
Unpack that for me.
Disease, for instance.
No, let's stick with the golden ratio for now.
The
because
golden
that's
ratio.
objective.
Objective, golden ratio. Okay, so the golden ratio doesn't allow for some people in certain parts of the globe to be as comfortable as other people on the other side of the globe. It also gives you storms, devastating earthquakes, and the such, which, in my view, a perfect loving God who would create those wouldn't include that in the golden ratio.
Okay,
You got solar flares that affect people, animals. You had, which I do believe, the meteorites that came to be and wiped the dinosaurs and a whole lot of other species, and that was just one of the mass extinctions that will someday happen again and wipe us all out. That's, for me, it's more of a silver ratio, not a golden ratio.
Right. So there's a few things that you brought in here. I think you brought in the problem of evil here as well.
No, I didn't bring evil because
problem of evil.
Evil is a concept. Evil is a moral thing, and it's different for. We have about 8 billion people in this planet, and the concept of good and evil is probably, you probably can have 8 billion different concepts.
Then why would you say a volcano or earthquake or these things that you mentioned to be like the reason why you took it from gold to silver? Obviously silver is less than gold, so the examples that you've given me are examples of, well, the negative things. Otherwise you wouldn't have taken it down to silver, isn't it?
They are examples of a not perfect design.
But not perfect how though? Like a tornado, why is that imperfect design?
I believe it's imperfect design according to if it was created by a loving God.
No, but where is that criteria of a all-loving God coming from? When you say all-loving, you mean
no, a loving God.
But surely it can be there can be compatibilism. You can have a loving God, but a loving God could also be doing things that seem negative to us or bad or whatever synonym you want to use, but there could be a reason for it, and our reason or our understanding, because our entire scientific endeavor relies upon induction, which is the limited observations that we see in front of us. Yes. So our limited observations today tell us that a tornado is committing destruction, but our limited observation is not telling us the positives that it is doing. Would you argue that there are positives that we may not know? That's why we can't necessarily say that that's a negative?
I would agree. That there might be positives, but a God that is all-powerful, that can create everything in a perfect way, would create everything in a perfect way, giving only positives and not negatives. Like,
why is that the criteria, though? Why is that?
Why
not the baby one, not the baby one. We'll come to the baby one.
That is an example. A tornado that just killed a newborn. Perfect God, the loving God, could create somehow same effect without killing that baby.
Right. Okay, so there are a few points to mention there. Our concept of God is we don't believe God is only all-loving. We believe He's the most kind, the most merciful, He is just, and for justice, and if we've got free will as well, we believe in compatibilism as well, that there's free will and determinism, but compatibilism of
free
both.
Free will and determinism doesn't quite mix with me, because if things are predetermined, then how can we have free will?
No, but it's the same with atheists, because atheists have to pitch their tent somewhere, whether it's free will, whether it's determinism, whether it's compatibilism. That's why you have your own schools of thought amongst atheism as well.
For me, it's either one or the other.
That's fine, we'll come to that. But here, when you're saying that God is all loving, we're saying that we believe God is just, He is loving. However, just means that a bad person or bad thing needs to be punished. There has to be good, there has to be bad, and we believe this world to be a test. And couple that with free will, there is choice, there is consequences, and we don't believe this world has been made to be perfect. This is an assumption that we don't accept. We believe paradise is perfect, and when you go there you can look at the creation and stuff like that, and there you won't be able to find any flaws. However, in this world, this assumption that because it's a perfect God, therefore there needs to be a perfect creation, we don't necessarily accept that assumption. What we say is this world has been created deliberately as a test, therefore there are deliberate flaws that have been put in. For example, poverty, killing, murder. These are negative things that have been put in to see how we will do away with these things, and that is one of our tests in this world.
Then with that, I would argue, if God knows everything, sees everything, he already knows whether you're going to pass or fail that test. So I don't see a reason why create a world just for the test instead of just creating the paradise world.
No, but this is in the wisdom of God. Why he created us is only something that he can really answer.
Exactly.
And he does.
Exactly.
Yeah, he says he's created us to get to know him, to worship him, to love him, and
that's another thing. That sounds more like a narcissistic God, creating people to worship me.
But this is based upon your understanding at the moment,
of course.
Isn't it?
Of course.
Remember, you said even when it comes to scientific principles, this is our understanding right now. So that is your current understanding of God, or is a narcissistic God?
No, it's not my current understanding of God. My current understanding is because of all this, I don't see
based on induction
there being a God.
Right.
Or at least not the concept of an all-loving God. Because I did play Sims when I was a kid, and I do remember how fun it was to leave him on a pool and let him drown. So I'm more inclined to believe that there are imperfect. That if there is a God, he would be an imperfect God with emotions. Someone like the Roman gods or the Greek gods.
But why, if God is perfect, he must create perfect creation? What's the link? Why is there a link? Why do we have to accept that link?
Because I'm not saying that if he's perfect, he needs to create perfection. What I'm saying is, if he's loving, he would not need to create suffering.
But then how is that compatible with free will then? Because
how is
isn't
determinism compatible with free will?
Well, that's the question of morality then, isn't it? That's what we'll have to go into, and that's something even
that's the one thing that we cannot know for sure. We can have faith, we can believe, but we cannot know.
So we don't know the mechanisms behind the compatibilism between determinism and free will.
Exactly.
Like an analogy, it's very difficult for people to give analogies of those things.
And because we don't know, I cannot choose one answer or the other.
No, but what I'm saying is that doesn't that's something that somebody that believes in God, doesn't believe in God, both have to contend with. That doesn't negate the existence of God.
No, but it doesn't prove it either.
It doesn't. But why?
That's exactly my point.
Yeah, but my point is slightly different. My point is that if we have free will, and those free will have consequences, like a human being that has free will, if you cross the road with your eyes closed, you're going to get hurt. Yeah, if you
might get hurt.
Well, most likely. If you are in an area in which you've been warned that, you know what, this tornado's come, and you've been sitting that day with headphones in, then you can't blame God for that. That's why I'm saying.
But if you are in an area where you don't know a tornado is going to come, that's got nothing to do with free will, and that's everything to do with God's creation that just came in and killed me without warning.
But here's the difference between our theologies now. Whereas you believe that when you die, that's it, everything ends. We believe that.
I don't believe. I just don't know.
You don't know.
That's the issue.
Currently,
I don't know anyone who went to the other side and came back to say something.
Right.
Tell me how it was. So.
At the moment, do you believe in the afterlife?
At the moment, I don't believe or don't believe. I just don't know.
You're agnostic about it.
I don't know.
Okay. So whereas one person may say that there is no after death. Once you die, you die. As Muslims, we believe this world is finite. So whereas people magnify the problems that happen in this world and they say, oh, God should have told you to protect you from that, we say that, look, God not telling you doesn't necessarily mean that you've lost out, because you have something called the hereafter that we believe in, that there's paradise, and you will be rewarded for that action. Whereas somebody that doesn't believe in an afterlife and they believe all that there is this world, naturally they will assume that you've been wronged, and if you die, you know, this is unfair. Yeah, you've died in a tornado and you didn't know, and And that's why there's a concept in Islam as well, that if a person is in a remote village and they haven't known God, no one's told them about God, they're not going to be penalized for eternity in the hellfire. Islam has to have reached you in a pristine form, not even in a distorted form as well. And there are many cases in which there is intervention of God, but for people to say, oh, according to me that baby died and oh no, terrible, God is terrible, we would say, but why end the story there? That baby, when it passes away, we believe that an innocent baby, if it passes away, goes straight to paradise. It doesn't have to go through the trials and tribulations of this world.
So why did he come into this world?
Who?
That baby.
Why?
So if he is born and immediately if he's born, he's here for, let's say, a year, he gets leukemia, he suffers, he dies, he makes his whole family, friends suffer, and goes straight to paradise.
Because
why did he come here?
Yeah, because coupling with free will, you have something called cause and effect. Now, if two people have intercourse and the sperm and the ovum, they fertilize, the child is going to come. That's a natural consequence. Otherwise, if a person...
So you're telling me that
there is cause and effect.
That baby should have never come.
No, I'm saying...
It was just a product of free will of two other people. And so because he should have never come, he's immediately taken to paradise.
I'm saying that couple both of them together, the baby is a product of cause and effect.
Yes.
However, if we now go to the moral side of the argument about the fate of the baby, I say the baby is going straight to paradise without going through the trials and tribulations of this world. So there's
he did go through the trials and tribulations of this world.
Not necessarily.
If a 1-year-old got leukemia through his whole life, he suffered, and without any need for that.
Are you talking about baby or an infant now?
A baby or an infant, whatever.
Yeah. So a child that's got leukemia, again, it's through cause and effect. If you're living in an area in which there are loads of, well, I don't want to go into conspiracy theories, but certain, waves or whatnot in certain areas, you're more likely to get cancer.
Forget leukemia. Yeah. Tree falls down on a kid.
Yeah. So if a tree falls down on a kid, again, I can't second guess God, but with the limited understanding that I have, the boy will now be a test for the parents. How are the parents going to live grieving of the child? Are they going to lose hope, or are they going to appreciate that, look, God gave us this gift, God took it away, us to bear with patience? And those parents that have lost a child, like for example, without becoming sentimental, certain things that I've gone through, if I hadn't gone through Rui, I wouldn't be able to resonate with other people that have gone through it.
I get that.
And that's why those parents will, I think, be better equipped to help those people suffering.
But why does the child, human being, has to be an instrument from God and suffer throughout his existence just so the parents can learn a lesson or something? Because it doesn't make sense.
Because we don't accept this notion of suffering as a principle of morality.
It's not a principle of morality. It is a fact.
It's called the harm principle.
The kid suffers, the kid exists, the kid suffers, and he ends up just being an instrument for the parents to learn something.
Let me just complete this point, So us utilizing the harm principle as the be-all and end-all of morality is not something that we entertain. We say ultimately, whether something is harmful or non-harmful, for example, going to the gym. A person goes to the gym, my biceps are aching and this and that. Your trainer says, you shut your mouth. You're coming tomorrow. We're doing triceps tomorrow, buddy boy. I'm speaking like Hulk Hogan because you give me some Hulk Hogan vibes.
I get it.
So in that sort of sense, that when you go to the harm principle, then a person's juggling like, oh, it's never hit a woman. You can never hit a woman. But then that match that took place in the Olympics where one person is considered a man because of the chromosomes, another was considered a woman. And again, like if a woman's transitioned into a man, can you now beat her up in a boxing ring if there's a referee there and you get, do you see? So we don't say that the harm principle that can be manipulated by circumstance or by people is the criteria and the be-all and end-all. I know in certain philosophical and theological discussions they do bring the harm principle, but what we say is that theology and what God says and what God has revealed, which again we can go into the evidences about scripture and the likes, we say that is a better criteria than the harm principle, which can be manipulated and changed by people and their thinking as well. So as a harm principle, we think that the baby's been hurt, yes, but the overwhelming pleasure that the baby will receive thereafter outweighs the harm. For example, if we're having an arm wrestle, yeah, you're harming me, but if I beat you, if you beat me, that bit of harm compared to the overwhelming amount of pleasure that we gave and consent and this and that, so many principles, we're okay with that sort of stuff. But here the only thing is that because of our limited understanding, that baby seems like he's suffering, or that person, they're suffering, and because somebody may believe that the world ends there and there, then that's it, we believe that they've been wronged. However, when they see the pleasures of the hereafter and they realize that that person is going to get multiple manifold reward and pleasure and what they want thereafter, then you're saying, okay, on balance and probability of everything, it's fair enough, like it makes sense.
Still, I don't see why, with that concept, I don't see why there needs to be a test world and a paradise world. Why not there just be a paradise world?
But Rui, the question still remains there also, the default, the thread of a question throughout the whole thing, just because that issue of yours is there.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
And because I don't understand.
But that doesn't disregard. That doesn't disprove God.
No, it doesn't. But it doesn't prove it.
It doesn't.
Prove it either.
I didn't use that as an evidence of God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Until
it doesn't disprove God. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Until the day I see that there is a proof.
Yeah.
I just remain doubtful.
Okay.
That's all.
So
that's all.
Would you say, let me take you through a similar thought experiment. It's called the contingency argument. Yeah. This is a philosophical argument. Existence classified are put in three. Yeah. A dependent existence, an independent existence, and an impossible existence.
Yes.
Would you say that there are any other existences that I've missed out?
Probably not.
Okay, so a dependent existence philosophically is characterized in three things. It cannot cease to exist. A dependent existence can cease to exist, can be any other way, and is composed in parts. Yeah, and a independent existence cannot cease to exist, is not composing of parts, and cannot be any other way. And the third one is an impossible existence, like a squared circle, yeah, that we can park for now. So, bearing these two existences in mind, would you say that the universe is dependent or independent? And yourself in the universe is dependent or independent?
Like I told you, I don't know.
Okay, yourself. Let's start with yourself. Are you dependent or independent?
I myself am dependent.
And let's say you depend on oxygen.
Depend on a lot of things.
A lot of things. And those things, one example is oxygen.
Yes.
Is that dependent or independent?
Oxygen. Oxygen is dependent. Everything is dependent.
Okay, fantastic. Now here's the question, Rui.
Even the creator, if it exists.
But here's the thing, let's not jump the gun. So you depend on that thing, that depends on that thing, that depends on that thing.
Exactly.
And if you go on ad infinitum, that doesn't necessarily make sense because infinity doesn't exist in the real world as we know it. Yeah? Now here's the question.
You have a starter point.
Yes.
That's your case.
No, my case is that you cannot have an infinite regress of dependent things. For us to exist in this world, there has to be an end to that chain, a necessary existence.
Exactly.
Do you accept that there is an end to that chain?
Yes.
Called a necessary existence? Okay. So that necessary existence, what do you characterize it as? What characteristics do you think it has?
It can be nature, it can be creator.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, let's continue. Would you agree with me that that necessary existence is independent?
Yes.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Would you agree with me that that necessary existence has immeasurable power?
I wouldn't know about power. I would go about chain reaction.
Let me break it down for you then. If we depend on something, that thing has more energy than us. So the thing that you depend upon has more energy.
Things can go on chain reactions.
This is actually a scientific and a philosophical principle. Allow me to give you a few examples. For example, a human being. plants, animals, no matter how big the tree is, no matter how big the elephant or the hippopotamus is, it relies upon the sun. Yeah, the sun has immense amount of energy and power.
Only on the sun, relies on a whole lot of other things.
Yeah, nuclear fission, we don't get into the kind of quantum mechanics of things. It's the same even with battery. Yeah, if battery or fuel, your car relies upon fuel. So that fuel needs to have more energy than the car,
yes.
Otherwise the car can't function. So if you have all of these things, depending on the necessary existence, all of it, for its energy and its survival, then surely that necessary existence has to have immeasurable power to keep everything going.
Yes.
Make sense? Fantastic. Now here's the thing that's a bit contentious. Bear with me. The third thing that I would argue that the necessary existence should have is will. Yeah?
No.
But that's why I said bear with me.
Exactly. I'm bearing with you.
Because I knew.
Yeah.
So here's where I would say it would have will, because we are contingent beings. In other words, we could have been any other way. So our arm could have been, hair, nose could have been hair, or whatever.
You're going to tell me about design?
No, just bear with me. Bear with me. So when it comes to will is indicative of a choice being made.
Yes.
The mere fact that this, what we see around us, came at one moment and not another moment, indicates intentionality.
No.
For example, an analogy: a painter who's sitting down, who at the moment doesn't know what he's painting. When an idea comes to mind, he puts his paintbrush to the canvas, and that's now the beginning of his painting. But more importantly, that's indicative of will.
Or he tipped a paint bucket. It fell on the canvas and produced something.
I got you. I know where you're going.
That doesn't involve will.
But just bear with me.
It involves an accident.
Still bear with me here, though. Yeah.
Painting is there as well.
I got you, and I like that point, and I'll come to it. I've heard that point. So just bearing with this more simpler example, the paintbrush in the hand of an artist, when he's about to paint it, that indicates a choice being made. Another example of a choice being made is, you could even look at the schemes. If, for example, the tree could have been red, could have been pink, could have been this, that, but green has been selected as a choice, yeah, that indicates a will. So both of these two examples.
If the tree was red, that wouldn't indicate a choice?
No, that would indicate a different choice. The mere fact that...
Or it could be just how it came to be.
No, but just how it came to be then leads us to the concept of chance as a creator, which then makes you fall under the fallacy of reification, which is you're giving concrete properties to something which is abstract. Because you don't believe that chance creates stuff, you believe chance describes things.
No, I do believe chance creates stuff. Just like I said, I accidentally kicked a bucket, and paint went into the canvas. Now it's a beautiful canvas, and I'll sell it for 10,000 pounds.
We're doing well, but just stick with me.
I'm sticking with you. Because
when you kick that, you've nullified your example, because you're the one kicking it. It's not chance that did it.
No, it was chance, because it wasn't done by will. I didn't.
But it was done by you.
But it was an accident.
Yeah, but if we're observing your action, the movement and the motion is coming from you.
It's coming from me, but not by choice.
Not by choice, but
nor by will.
Well, we can argue that. It depends.
No, I can argue that. I didn't choose, or I didn't want to.
Well, that means that you're going with the deterministic school of thought when it comes to morality. But let me give you another example.
You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like to catch.
I'm conscious. Okay, I'll stick with the 2 minutes. Let's stick with chance, yeah? Chance, creating stuff falls in the fallacy of reification, like I said, because chance, when you give it concrete properties, what you're doing is you're giving it a consciousness, you're giving it a mind, you're giving it an agency. By saying everything was created by chance, what you're in essence saying is everything was created by the rolling of a dice. The rolling of a dice doesn't necessarily create something. A person rolls the dice, or accidentally, or closing his eyes, and then chance is done as an explanation, as a description, not as a creation. Yeah, chance. You can't say that chance itself is now making this thing happen. Chance is a descriptive false or descriptive concept that we're using to describe our understanding of what's around us and the descriptive nature of the things around us.
What I can tell you is chance was the first lighting of the fuse, and everything after that is determined by the chain reaction of everything.
Do me one favor, I'm conscious you have a flight, just Google one thing. It's called the fallacy of reification.
Fallacy of reification.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, but that summarizes the last point that I mentioned to you. I know how crazy it is when a person misses a flight. Rui, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
If you're ever in the neck of the woods again, please make sure you drop by.
Will do. Where can I see this?
There's a few channels. SF.
Is it the same?
No, there's a few different channels.
Okay, so
you can
just put in the Speaker's Corner and then sort it out by date, and you'll appear.
SMILE2JANNAH Extra. That's one channel you can type in. It should be up in 2 days.
Sorry?
SMILE2. You can write this down. SMILE S2 JANNAH JANNAH and then extra EXTRA. Yeah, it's auto-corrected it.
Jannah?
And then space and then EXTRA.
Extra.
Yeah.
Jannah Extra.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Rui, pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Rui, I'll just take the mic, yeah? The mic, yeah. No, it's all right. You'll be on there. The video will be ongoing.
And a picture.
Yeah, go for it. Let me take one as well. Bro, take a picture.
There's only one time when
Pleasure, Rui. Take care, brother.
You too.
Walaikum salam. How are you? Okay?
Very big fan of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is it okay if I take a photo?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
You're doing good.
Thank you. Walaikum salam.
having a picture with me.
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Yes. Your camera's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
My camera. And I have a quick, do you know if Ali Dawa is coming today?
Normally he's here.
Yeah.
Maybe he's coming a bit later today.
And Mohammed Hijab?
No, not
He's like
no, no,
he's done. He's retired.
Yeah. He's done enough. He's done enough damage.
Hamza, no, he has a shop around here, right?
I'm not sure. I know Hamza has a shop. I don't know if it's around here.
Brother, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I've seen these guys like on YouTube. I just didn't understand their like aqidah, like the black Israelites or Hebrewites. What are those guys? What are they exactly like following? Are they proclaiming they're like proclaiming like they're the original Bani Israel or something like
That's
that?
one of the claims I've heard them say, yeah. I haven't looked too much into them.
Me neither, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ali debated them, is it?
Focus.
It is, yeah. Like, obviously we don't give any airtime to them, but
Okay.
yeah, because they have some funky beliefs, like I think they still believe the white man's the devil, isn't it? I think they believe that there's a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got some...
Oh, let's say something about private.
Yes.
It's nice
that's
meeting you, man.
No.
Assalamu alaikum. You're
My
doing
pleasure,
a great
brother.
job, bro.
I appreciate that.
Muslims that don't have the outreach or freedom of expression and where we live, we look up to you guys like. I just want you to know that.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, brother.
Sure.
Take care. Yes.
Come, Yusuf.
Thank you. Shukran. Thank you, brother. Welcome salam. كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله لك يا رب. والله you are one of the best. SMILE2JANNAH is one of the best.
بارك الله فيك.
والله even my father, he was busy. I was talking to him like to handshake you and to say salam to you.
Allahu Akbar.
So basically, I was talking to that.
Hey Sheikh, are you okay? How are you? Walaikum salam. How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. MashaAllah.
السلام عليكم.
كيف حالك شيخ؟ والله كلكم اثنين انا اثني عليكم والله. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. الله يجعلنا منكم ان شاء الله وزيكم باذن الله تعالى.
الله يجعلكم افضل منا ان شاء الله.
يا رب الله يسعدكم.
امين واياكم.
Your father's head one?
Yeah, but he's over there. والله he knows that you're free. He will come and take your hand. والله. So basically, I was talking to that over there. I think that he's like a civil rights supporter. You know what I mean?
Bob.
I don't know. He
The
was
one with the flag?
Yeah, he was saying like he was.
He's shouting a lot, yeah?
Yes. Even SMILE2JANNAH, you know. Like I was talking, then some guy just some Muslim guy, he just told me, don't do anything. He will just provoke you.
Yeah.
He will make you come to him. He will make you like يضرب.
Yes.
He will make you بعدين كلبوش.
No, what he does is he films you.
Yes.
Then he will take clips and he will embarrass you online. This is the
To be
problem.
honest, I don't care. Like for me, but like that guy, he was shouting a lot.
Yeah, because I need my brother Aziz
Yes.
and you. I need you gonna ask what is going in Bangladesh in the influence of India.
Okay, yeah. Me and Hijab, we made a video as well though.
What is Aziz? He know this thing.
Okay.
All in all, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Wallahi, I support you all the way.
Barakallah feek.
Wallahi, you know, you are one of the guys, when I go to sleep, I open your page and I just listen to it until I go to sleep.
Allahu Akbar.
Wallahi. Thank you so much,
Thank you, brother. Allah
Assalamu
bless you,
alaikum.
brother. Barakallah feek.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
I want to take a picture.